Welcome back to the Golden Standard. I am your hardstyle kettlebell coach, Colleen Conlon, and today we are diving into the push press, which if you are just getting started with kettlebells, this should be your first vertical pressing pattern as you're getting started. Because once you're comfortable with the push press, then you can start getting into things like the strict press, maybe a Viking push press, maybe eventually you wanna jerk the kettlebell. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but this is where it begins. So today we're gonna talk about tension, we're gonna talk about breath, like we have been over the past, is this our fourth session together? I think this is our fourth session together. So like we've been talking about for a month now, and how we apply it to the push press. We're gonna talk about the pathway, the proper alignment, and then we will start to practice some actual reps. So I would encourage you, if you are on the email list for weight selection when it comes to practicing in these types of sessions, when we get started with a push press, a really nice place to start is somewhere around testing size bell, if not something 2 to 4 kilos lighter, and it just kind of depends on where you are at on your strength training journey. So I pulled out 2 bells today. I wanted to give you a little demonstration with one of my favorite kettlebells that I unfortunately don't get to play around with a tremendous amount, but it's one of my favorite bells. Most of the bells that you see behind me, they're either from Kettlebell Kings, they're from Dragon Door, they're from Great Lake Era, but this bell in particular, I just find so gorgeous. And I'm gonna use it for demonstrating today. This is by Kiba Berlin. And he hand makes these bells. They're gorgeous. He hand makes a lot of cool different fitness modalities, but I thought we could play with it today. So before we talk about all of these things that we need to talk about, let me give you the demonstration of what a push press is. I'll show you 2 reps from straight on and then 2 reps from profile. All right, so that is what we are working on today. When it comes to creating the tension, there are a couple things we need to talk about that we haven't necessarily talked about up until this point. So let's just revisit what we know. Lower body tension. I want you to stand up, relax. If you haven't been live with me yet, just notice what it feels like to stand normally. Doesn't really feel like much, that's okay. But now what happens when you press your big toes and your pinky toes down? You rip the floor apart, your knees are soft, and I want you to imagine you're wearing a belt buckle and you're trying to tip that belt buckle up towards the sky. Notice what you feel throughout your legs, what you notice throughout your glutes. This lower body tension, we want access to this specifically at the top of our press, okay? Now, when we are at the bottom of the press, we're not straight. We're actually in this little bit of a knee bend. And when we're at the bottom, our belt buckle is not tipping up. It's actually kind of tipping down. We kind of have like this little like twerk butt action going on, okay? But we're still gonna think about pressing our toes down and ripping the floor apart. So we're gonna be living between here and here for our push press. So can we just practice that for a moment? Let's do straight legs, because that's what we've spent the most time on so far. I want you to press big toes, pinky toes down. We're gonna find lower body tension. We're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. Rip the floor apart with your feet. Knees are soft, belt buckle is tipped up, legs have tension, glutes have tension. You can even feel tension throughout the lower abdominals. We're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rest. Okay, shake it out. And just it feels like. And maybe you even like say what it feels like out loud. Like acknowledging, I feel a lot going on in my glutes. I feel a lot going on in my quads. When you can say these pieces out loud, it just helps your brain and your body create this new memory. And when we have these memories just ingrained in our bodies, we can think a little bit less and just start to perform. So now let's do the same thing, but let's find the bottom of this push press position. So again, I'm gonna press my toes down, big toes, pinky toes down. I'm gonna have a slight bend in my knee. Now this is not to be confused with I'm doing a squat to pressing the bell up. That's not the move. It's just a little bit of a knee bend. I want you to think like, I don't know, what's this look like to you? Like 1 to 2 inches. It's small. It's gonna just give us a little bit of momentum to help get the bell up instead of just having complete tension, okay? We're gonna take advantage of that little bit of momentum. So, my big toes, my pinky toes press down. Little bend in my knees, and I pop the booty. The belt buckle is now tipped down. I like to think of this as twerk butt. So from here, I rip the floor apart. And I don't know about you, but the outer portions of my legs, this is where I really feel it. And then we're gonna add another layer. I want you to imagine that there's 2 bands and they're wrapped around your thighs and they're being pulled back. It's as if you are trying to rotate your knees outward. We're trying to externally rotate from our hips. I want you to think about that action simultaneously. What should happen for most of us is we get this strong reaction of our glutes, the outer portions of our glutes starting to fire. So let's look for that. I'm gonna cue you in vocally and do it with you at the same time. Big toes, pinky toes press down. Slight bend in my knees. I rip the ground apart. I got my twerk butt and externally rotating from my hips. My legs are talking. Outer portions of my glutes are talking. Right now, as I'm in this position, there's not this contraction in my lower abdominals because I actually have a little bit more length there. We're gonna hold this position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Okay. So when it comes to lower body tension for our push press, we need to be able to go between the one and the other. Let's practice that for a second. So we're gonna start with that little knee bend. We're gonna hold it for 5, and then we're gonna lock out, we'll hold it for 5. We'll do that twice, okay? I'm gonna do the first pass with you profile, and then I will face you straight on. Big toes, pinky toes press down. I rip the ground apart. I bend my knees, twerk butt, externally rotating from my hips. I'm here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up, tip your belt buckle up. You're still ripping the ground apart with your feet. You're still externally rotating from your hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Do you feel how there's a lot of energy when we are intentional about what we are asking our lower body to do? That's what we need for the press. That's what we need if we want to lift relatively heavy weight with ease. It doesn't look like a lot, but you as the person doing the action, it does feel like a lot. So now let's do it one more time. I'm facing you. Big toes, pinky toes pressing down. Bend your knees. Externally rotating from the hips. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten up. Tip your belt buckle up. Notice what you feel in the abs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Okay. That is part 1. Piece 1. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the upper body tension component. So up until now, we've been talking about engaging the lats. We've been talking about shoulders down, shoulders back, armpits shut. Everything we've done up till now is having the shoulder in line, if not behind the earlobe, relatively. When it comes to the push press, I've seen people coach it still like this, but I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna get so much more out of it if we can get serratus anterior to give you a little bit more support. So what we're gonna do instead, I'm still gonna think down, I'm still gonna think armpit shut, but now I'm gonna think shoulder forward. And technically it's not your shoulder, it's your shoulder blade. Instead of having our shoulder blades pull together, we want them to spread apart, okay? So just practice this with me for a second. I wanna give you the visual first. I'm down, I'm shut, I'm forward. I'm down, I'm shut, I'm forward, okay? And we're gonna hold the position for 10 seconds. Just notice what you feel, okay? And if it's easier, you can do both sides at the same time. We're only gonna press on one side today, but this can be helpful as you practice. So, shoulders down, armpit shut, shoulder blades spread apart. You're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. What do you feel? What do you notice? Again, you want to say these things out loud because it helps you to make the memory. When I'm in this position in particular, I feel a lot right around here. I feel some support right under here. I can feel my shoulder blades spreading apart. I want to do it with you one more time. Again, just notice what you feel. Where do you feel your body creating this tight, tense sensation, okay? All right, shoulders down, armpit shut, spread your shoulder blades apart. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Okay, so now we need to put upper body and lower body tension together at the same time. So we need to be able to do what we just did. And I need to find my lower body, piece number 1. Now as I tip up my belt buckle and my arm comes up, I am still thinking shoulder down, armpit shut, shoulder forward, but it's gonna move. Like I'm not actually gonna be able to keep this down. It is going to reach up. So if you're thinking to yourself, this doesn't make sense, just focus on feeling those actions to keep everything locked and know that it's not going to stay in place. Make sense? Okay, so let's try it. As we try this, let's go 5 counts, position number 1, 5 counts, position number 2. We'll do that one time. All right. Big toes, pinky toes press down. I rip the ground apart. I bend my knees, I twerk my butt, I externally rotate from my hips. Shoulder down, armpit shut, shoulder forward. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get your belt buckle up, straighten out the knees. Shoulders still pulling down, armpits still squeezing shut, shoulder blades still spreading. Actually, let me take that back for a second. Once we are up, you are going to feel the shoulder blades more so coming together than spreading apart. As I'm here, I hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Okay, I need that tension. If I don't have that tension, this is when you start to see people kind of like noodling through a press. When you are pressing, you should look like a statue. Still and strong. Now let's talk about the breath that goes with this. This is technically, we're gonna treat it like a grind. And the reason why I'm kind of like, is because once we start to get into the world of like doing push press versus strict press, it's possible that you could be push pressing and going pretty quickly with it. So the breathing could potentially turn more into like a ballistic exhale. But for the sake of what we're doing today, we're gonna treat it like a grind. So we have 2 different types of exercises. We have our fast exercises, ballistics, they get a short exhale. We have our grinds, they are longer exercises, like our squat, our deadlift, our bent over row. For the sake of today, our push press, they get a long exhale. When I breathe, I need to make sure my chest is not lifting up. I'm gonna over exaggerate this. That's not the vibe. Chest stays relaxed. We take a deep breath. We wanna feel our rib cage expand. Look. Look at it from the side. You're gonna take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine you are like a snake and you are hissing. The specific sound that I want to encourage you to make is TST. You want this sound to be loud. You want it to be loud enough that you can feel a contraction throughout your abdominals. Look at me for a second, look at me. When I take this exhale, notice what happens here. This will be better, hang on. I take a deep breath in. You see how everything gets so much tighter? That's happening because I'm putting this pressure down on my breath. It's creating all of this pressure throughout my thoracic cavity. It's going to help assist me in getting the heavier weights up above my head with relative ease. I say relative ease because it's gonna look easy, but for me as the person doing it, it's not gonna feel easy. It's gonna feel really freaking hard. Okay, so that's what we need. I wanna practice that now with you. Tension, breath, and then we'll talk more about alignment. Okay. Big toes, pinky toes, press down. Rip the ground apart. Bend your knees, twerk your butt, externally rotate from your hips. We need this the whole time. Shoulder down, armpit shut, shoulder blades spread apart. Inhale here. Exhale as you press up. And bring it back down. Perfect. Let's try it again. Inhale, get into position number 1. Exhale, press. Inhale, get into position number 1. Exhale, press. Great. Now, if that feels a little bit like this, it's normal. This is one of the reasons why, I highly encourage you, if you are serious about getting into kettlebells, take the time to learn these moves. They look really easy, but once we start to break them down, you start to realize, okay, there's a little bit more that goes into it than what naturally meets the eye. So it's normal if it feels like a lot. That's why we practice. And if you DM me the word gold, I will give you homework to practice drilling this skill. Okay, so now let's talk about position. So we already know what needs to happen with our body at the bottom, at the top, but we haven't talked about the kettlebell. So this is the first time we are talking about being in the racked position. So once I pick my kettlebell up, this is where I want to be. I want you to notice my elbow, I want to keep it as tight to my body as possible. I want my wrist to stay neutral. If anything, I can try to bend it forward. The heavier the weight gets, the more you're going to need to bend it forward to almost find neutral. What we don't want happening is we don't want it to bend backwards. Now, when we're new to kettlebells, it can feel like a lot to have this heavy piece of iron resting on a relatively sensitive spot of the body. So if you want to use something like a wrist guard or even like a sweatband, I've had some people use like soft headbands that they'll just wrap around for the convenience because maybe you don't have wrist guards at home. That's absolutely okay. Do what you need to do to just start getting these pieces into your body. And then it's kind of like training wheels. You just take the training wheels away one day and you're good. Okay, so I want you to just be mindful now. This is our racked position. And for anybody who is a little bit bustier from the belly button up, if it feels like I just can't get my elbow that tight to my body, that's okay. If you're a little bit more winged out, but you want to be as tight as possible. Because as we press, we don't want to press on any type of a diagonal. We need to think about pressing straight up. And the same idea on the way down. I want to keep my forearm as straight as possible no diagonals. Got it? Okay. I feel like we can add that piece into the rest of the mix. But one thing that we still need to talk about is how do I get the bell into position, right? So we are going to do something known as a two-handed cheek clean. We'll do a whole episode on this, I promise. To pick up the bell and get it into the rack position, what we are gonna do is take two hands. The side that I wanna bring the kettlebell to is the side that is going to come underneath the horn. And you'll notice my fingers are on one side, my thumb is on the other. I'm gonna take my opposite hand, I'm gonna thread it underneath. Now, as I'm here, I'm in position as if I were about to do a deadlift. The only difference is instead of the kettlebell being horizontal, it's now vertical, okay? From here, I'm gonna stand up quickly. I'm gonna have a short exhale, and it's just going to rest into the racked position. Now, if you see it a little bit closer, you'll notice forearm is straight, elbows tight to my body. My thumb is technically touching my collarbone. This is what we're going after. This is what we want, okay? Now, if as you are doing this two-handed cheek clean to get it up, it's a little bit messy, it's okay. That is typically more of like a transitional skill to get the bell into different positions. Progress is what we're going after. If you get hit a couple times today, don't sweat it. I will help you in the next one. We will go over it. But for now, I just need you to get the bell into position. If it's even easier for you to like put your bell up on like a couch or a table or something like that to get it into position, for right now, that's absolutely okay. So, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get it up. I'm gonna demo for you again. Pay attention to the tension, pay attention to the breath. I'll do 2 reps straight on, 2 reps from the side, and then you will come with me. Okay, from the side. Inhale as I bend, exhale as I extend. From this position, I'm already gonna start my inhale. Now, right now as we practice, it might feel like I need to breathe again. That's okay, you can do that, but just understand, inhale, bend, exhale, extend. Bring it down, inhale, bend, exhale, extend, okay? All right, you ready to do this with me? Let's do it. Let's aim for 3 to 5 reps. Set it down, shake it out. We'll do it on the right side, we'll do it on the left side. And big things to keep in mind in terms of what should I be feeling? Total body tension. So we know we should be feeling our legs, we should be feeling our glutes, we should be feeling our abs, we should be feeling tension throughout our upper body. There's really not anything that we shouldn't be feeling. I would say you're definitely gonna feel a lot upper body in terms of like the pec region, shoulders, because that is, you know, a primary mover in this. But we do want to feel the entirety of our body working. If it feels like I can get the bell up over my head and I don't need the rest of my body, you got to go back to the beginning and watch this again. Tension is key with this kind of work if you want to make significant progress. Okay, I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to swap out my bell. This one is so old. This is one of the first kettlebells I ever got like 8 years ago. It's from TRX. Okay, two-handed cheek clean. I want to rack it to my right. Right hand is going to touch the horn. Left hand goes underneath. Short exhale. I'm in my rack position. Elbows tight to my body. Breaking my wrist forward. Thumb to my collarbone. From here, big toes, pinky toes press down. I bend my knees, twerk my butt, external rotation from my hips. Shoulder down, armpit shut, shoulder blades spread apart. Inhale, exhale, extend. Once you have 3 to 5, set it down, shake it out. What do you feel? What do you notice? Okay, let's take a second. Let's do it on the second side. When we rack it this time, your left hand needs to be the hand holding onto the horn of the kettlebell. When it comes to cleaning a bell up, regardless of the variation, so right now I'm demoing a two-handed cheek clean. If you do a single arm cheek clean, if you do a dead stop clean, if you do a clean, if you do double bell work, loose grip. Loose grip is how you avoid getting hit. There's some other things too, but the loose grip is really important. Okay. Elbows tight, breaking my wrist forward, neutral, straight line. Thumb touches my collarbone. Big toes, pinky toes press down. I bend my knees, I torque my butt, I externally rotate from my hips. Let me give you a profile view. Inhale, bend, exhale, extend. Belt buckles up, I feel all that tension throughout my body. Inhale as I bring it down, bend, extend. Once you have 3 to 5, set it down, shake it out. And if you're wondering, what am I supposed to do with this free hand? Dealer's choice. We want to create some tension, so some common things that you're going to see people do that work would be something like holding it out to the side, making a fist. Sometimes I've found with some clients, this doesn't feel as powerful for some reason as this. So play, to me, this is like magic fingers versus a fist. You'll also see people tight underneath their chin. This is great. What we don't want is like this or this. Out, under, tension, okay? Let's try one more pass. I'm gonna cue you in this time. Trust the cues, notice what you feel. When we do this pass, I want you to try your best to pay attention to noticing what's happening with my lower body. When I'm down, can I feel that twerk? When I'm up, can I feel that belt buckle up, okay? Here we go. Clean up your belt. Forearm is straight, elbow tight to my body. Thumb touching my collarbone. Big toes, pinky toes pressing down. I rip the ground apart. My knees, I bend them. Externally rotating from my hips. Torque butt. Shoulder down, armpit shut, shoulder blades spread apart. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Feel the hips moving. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. When the bell is down, on my inhale, I'm going back into torque butt. As I exhale, as I extend, I want belt buckle up. And set it down, shake it out. Nice. What do you feel? What do you notice? We're gonna do one more pass. Switch it over to the other side. This time, I want you to pay attention to the breath, and specifically, when you exhale, what do you feel throughout your abdominals, okay? The sensation might be really strong. It also might be really faint. So I don't know if you know this about me. I have had 4 abdominal surgeries. I've had 4 abdominal surgeries. I spent about 8 years having like 0 sensation from the belly button down. The connection really was not there for me as I started this, and now I have a lot of sensation throughout my lower abdominals. So I want you to just pay attention. What do you feel right now? What do you notice? What can you connect to? Because sometimes, and this can sound like kind of woo-woo, but it's legit. When we tell our body, this is the sensation that I'm looking for, it's almost easier to connect it. Okay, here we go. Second side, this is your last pass. Clean your bell up, elbow tight to your side, breaking the wrist forward, straight forearm, thumb to collarbone. Big toes, pinky toes press down. I rip the ground apart. Bend your knees, twerk your butt, externally rotate from your hips. Inhale, bend, exhale, extend, tip your belt buckle up. Good, again, inhale, bend, exhale, extend. What do you feel throughout the abdominals? Inhale, bend, exhale, extend. Fantastic. Okay. Great job today. Again, that is the basics of the push press. And again, that's not to be confused with a strict press or a Viking push press or any of the other variations of getting the bell up over our head. If you can get comfortable and confident with this pattern, it's gonna open up to doing all of the other stuff. But before we can do all of the other stuff, we gotta get really comfortable with the basics. And this is a great place to start. So if you would like the homework to drill the skill, go to my personal Instagram account. My handle is I am Colleen Conlon. DM me the word gold, and then I will send you some homework to drill. And then I will see you next week. I believe I have up in rotation that we're either talking about the swing or the Turkish get-up, but I think maybe we should talk about the clean. And not even the clean. Maybe it's like this two-handed cheek clean. Maybe we'll get to a single arm cheek clean. Bye.